I'm Detective James, and this is the cases the news forgot.
Before I tell you what happened in those mountains, I want you to answer something honestly. Do you believe trained professionals can simply vanish? Not rookies, not tourists, not people who panic. I'm talking about armed park rangers who know the land better than anyone alive. If you believe there is always a rational explanation, type "I believe" in the comments right now. Because by the end of this story, most people wish they hadn't. 5 rangers left for a routine patrol in the Rocky Mountains. Weather clear, radios functional, sun coming up over the tree line. They were expected back before nightfall. They never returned. No emergency call, no gunfire, no storm, no tracks leading away from the trail. Just 5 men and women. Gone. A week later, the search changed from rescue to recovery. That's when they called my unit. My name is James. I wasn't there when they disappeared. I was there when we tried to understand why. And what we found in those woods was worse than bodies. We found their cameras, not together, not near camp, scattered, miles apart, as if the mountain itself had picked them up, carried them around, and dropped them wherever it wanted. Most were damaged. One was still recording. When we brought the equipment back to the temporary command center, nobody spoke. Search and rescue veterans are used to death. Falls, hypothermia, bears. But something about this felt wrong, too quiet, too clean, like the forest had erased the argument. The tech officer slotted the memory card into a laptop. The screen flickered, boots moving through dirt, breathing, normal patrol chatter, someone joking about coffee. You know, the kind of ordinary that makes you feel safe. And then Ranger Cole stopped walking. His voice changed, not louder, not panicked, just smaller, like the world had suddenly grown too big around him. He said, "Do you see that?" Another ranger answered, "Yeah." A third voice asked, "See what?" Nobody replied. The camera zoomed toward a stand of trees. Wind moved the branches. Light came through the leaves, nothing unusual. But every ranger on that trail had frozen. 5 professionals, all staring at the same empty space. I remember leaning closer to the screen. I thought maybe I'd notice something they didn't. Movement, a shape, anything. There was nothing there. Then the radio started to crackle. At first, we thought it was interference, but interference doesn't have rhythm. This did. Slow, drawn in, like breath pulled through wet cloth. Cole whispered, "Why is it closer?" Another ranger said, "It didn't walk." And then came the sentence none of us were prepared for. "Why is it moving toward us if it doesn't have legs?" Somebody in our command tent actually laughed. Just a reflex, a nervous rejection of what they'd heard. Because the alternative was admitting those words meant something. On the screen, Cole took a step back. Then another. Leaves crushed under his boots. His breathing picked up. Behind him, someone quietly said, "We should go." The footage glitched. 3 seconds of digital tearing. When it came back, they were running. Branches slashed across the camera. Voices shouted over each other. Coordinates, names, a call to regroup. But there was something else now. A second set of movement. Keeping pace. We couldn't see it, but they could. You hear it in their voices. You hear the moment training collapses. One ranger fired his weapon. 3 shots, controlled, professional. Then he screamed, not in pain, in disbelief. The camera swung wildly, and for half a frame, there was something, not clear enough to identify. but tall. Wrong, bent in places a body shouldn't bend. Cole fell. The camera hit the ground. Dirt filled the screen. Boots ran past him. Nobody stopped. And I want you to understand how serious that is. Rangers do not abandon each other. Ever. Whatever was behind them was worse than death. Cole crawled, whispering, I can't. Then everything went silent. No birds, no wind, no pursuit. Just quiet. Footsteps approached. Slow, measured, deliberate. Cole raised the camera, and we saw a shadow cross the trees. Long, too long. It didn't match the ground. Cole said, I can see you. The footsteps stopped. Then it answered, in his voice, perfectly. I can see you too. The video ended. Battery still half full. No impact. No shutdown. It simply stopped existing after that moment. Nobody in the tent spoke for a long time. Because if the camera wasn't broken, then something had chosen the end. That was the moment I knew this wasn't a rescue. It was containment. And we had just walked into the same forest. If you're still with me right now, comment, keep going. Because what we discovered the next morning made the footage look merciful. The morning after we watched the footage, nobody argued about whether we should continue. The question was how far. Command wanted a perimeter sweep. Stay near open air. Maintain helicopter visibility. No heroics. They were afraid of losing more people. They just didn't want to say it out loud. But fear does something to investigators. It makes us curious. Because if something impossible happened, we need it to become possible. We need it to have rules. At 600, we crossed the line where dogs had refused to go the day before. You could feel it immediately. Search teams talk about atmosphere all the time, but this was different. The air wasn't colder, it wasn't darker. It was occupied, like stepping into a room where a conversation had stopped the moment you arrived. Nobody joked anymore. Boots in snow, gear shifting, breathing, that was it. I walked behind the tech officer carrying the recovered camera. He kept looking over his shoulder. Finally, I asked him what he expected to see. He said, I don't know. Then he added, but I feel like it expects to see us. We followed the GPS pings from where the cameras had last transmitted. They formed a strange curve through the forest. Not random, not straight. Guided, like livestock being moved through gates. Every mile or so, we found something small. A glove, a radio battery, one ranger's hat, placed, not dropped. Placed where it could be noticed. Someone behind me muttered, It's marking the trail. No one replied, but everyone heard it. By mid-morning, the forest had gone silent again. Not natural quiet, absence. Even the wind seemed to avoid us. At 10:12, Ramirez's unit radio powered on by itself. We all froze. The battery had been removed. Yet the speaker hissed. Static rolled out slowly. Then it cleared, and we heard walking. Footsteps in leaves. Breathing. The tech whispered, That's not live. He checked the frequency. No transmission. No source. Then a voice came through. Soft, careful, learning. It said, Where are you? The worst part? It wasn't Ramirez. It was the thing trying to be. Command ordered us to shut the radio off. The tech tried. The switch wouldn't respond. Finally, he ripped the battery housing open. The sound continued for 3 more seconds. Then silence. Nobody wanted to carry it after that. So I did. We kept moving because stopping felt worse. Around noon, we reached the ridge from the footage. Recognition passed through the group instantly. Even without the camera, we knew this was where Cole had fallen. I found the indentation in the dirt where he hit. Still there, like the ground remembered. But there was something new. Tracks, barely visible. Long impressions in the soil that bent around trees instead of going between them. Our tracker knelt, touched one, pulled his hand back like he'd burned himself. He said, "That's not weight." I asked him what he meant. He said, "Something passed here." Then he looked up at the forest, but it didn't need the ground. Command told us to withdraw, immediately. No debate. We began moving back, orderly, professional, but too late. Because behind us, something began to walk. Not running, not charging, just matching our pace. No matter how fast we moved, it stayed the same distance. Perfect control. One of the younger deputies started crying. He tried to hide it. No one blamed him. They made the mistake of looking back. I don't know why. Instinct maybe, or ego. The need to see the enemy. I saw movement between the trees. Tall, unstable, as if parts of it kept choosing different shapes. And then it stopped, because it had seen that I had seen it. The radio on my vest clicked. I heard my own voice whisper, "Don't turn around." I hadn't spoken. Command yelled in my earpiece, asking for a status report. I couldn't answer, because if I opened my mouth, I was afraid something else would come out. We made it back to the safe line, and the presence stopped instantly, like a switch. Helicopters came in, noise returned, birds returned, the world restarted. But as we loaded into the transport, I looked back toward the ridge, and I realized something that still keeps me awake. It had walked us out, not chased, not attacked, escorted, like it wasn't ready yet. That night, Command confiscated all personal recording devices. We were told the operation was shifting to federal oversight. We were no longer investigators, we were witnesses. But witnesses to what? An animal? An enemy? Something older than both? At 2:14 in the morning, I woke up in my bunk. Certain someone had said my name. I sat up, heart racing, listening, and from somewhere beyond the trees, I heard it. Trying my voice again, practicing, getting better. By the third day, the story we were telling ourselves had collapsed. No one said animal anymore. No one said terrain. We had run out of lies that fit inside a report. So Command brought in machines. Because machines are neutral, they don't panic, they don't imagine, they don't misinterpret. And if something impossible shows up on their sensors, then at least we can argue with data instead of fear. They arrived just after sunrise. 2 trucks, no markings, no introductions. The kind of people who don't shake hands because they already know who you are. Out came the cases, thermal drones, long-range optics, environmental mapping gear. They planned to build a model of the forest. Every heat signature, every movement, every living thing. If something was there, they would see it. I remember feeling relieved. Technology meant clarity. Clarity meant control. I was wrong. At 900, the first drone lifted off. Smooth, quiet, professional. It rose above the tree line, tilted forward, and began tracing the path toward the ridge. Inside the mobile command unit, we watched the monitor. Black and white thermal imagery. Cold ground, warm animals, birds like sparks in the sky. Normal, measurable, comforting. The operator marked the position where Cole's camera had ended. He zoomed, enhanced, ran motion stabilization. And then someone asked a strange question. They said, "Why is that spot colder than everything around it?" The temperature drop wasn't small. It was dramatic, like winter had fallen into one patch of forest and refused to leave. They adjusted the gain, checked calibration. Everything read fine. But in the center of that cold space, there was movement. At first, we thought it was shadow interference, tree sway, compression artifact. Then it changed direction, against the wind. The operator leaned closer. His voice had gone flat. He said, "That's not background." The shape stretched, compressed, unfolded like something standing up without ever lying down. No clear edges, no anatomy, just absence arranged into intention. I felt my mouth go dry, because even on thermal, it wasn't warm. It moved between the trees, and wherever it passed, heat vanished. Birds lifted from branches ahead of it. Not away, ahead, like they were being pushed. Someone whispered, "It's hurting again." The drone followed. Higher altitude, safe, untouchable. We told ourselves that. Then the audio channel activated. Not from the drone, from below. Voices, faint, layered, repeating. The operator froze the frame, boosted sound, and there it was. Fragments, Cole, Ramirez, Grant, calling coordinates, asking for help, looping, like tape left in the sun. One of the federal techs muttered, "It recorded them." I asked him what he meant. He said, "It doesn't hunt," he swallowed. "It archives." Before anyone could respond, the shape stopped moving. It turned, not physically. There was no body to rotate, but its attention shifted. Upward, toward the drone. Every monitor in the truck flickered. The operator tried to pull altitude. The controls lagged. Signal degradation. Impossible at that range. The audio grew clearer, less broken. Now the voices weren't repeating old lines, they were reacting. "Look up," one of them said. The drone camera jerked. For half a frame, the shape elongated. Rose, impossible height. Then the feed went white. Power loss, total. The drone didn't fall. It simply disappeared from radar. No crash, no descent, no wreckage. Gone. Nobody moved, because losing $1 million aircraft without physics involved breaks something inside you. Command ordered the second drone up immediately. Faster, higher. This time they kept wider orbit. No approach, observe only. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. Just trees, wind, normal. People began breathing again. You could feel hope trying to crawl back into the room. Then the operator said, "Why are there two of them?" Everyone leaned forward. There, on the screen, two cold zones. One at the ridge, exactly where we expected. The other, closer, much closer, inside the perimeter, moving, and its path was wrong. It wasn't drifting, it wasn't wandering, it was following the trail we had used to leave, learning the exit. I felt something drop in my stomach, a certainty, hard, heavy. It wasn't trapped in the mountains. We had shown it the way out. The radio beside me clicked, and in a voice that was almost perfect now, it said, "Which way do you go home?" No delay, no distortion. Mine. Command cut external speakers. Too late. Everyone had heard. The drone operator backed the camera out, trying to regain perspective, trying to shrink it. But scale doesn't work on things that don't obey size, because the closer shape was growing. not in mass, in confidence. It no longer hid between trees. It moved in the open. Slow, measured, practicing walking. Someone in the truck whispered, "Oh my God, it's rehearsing." I realized then that Cole had been right. It had learned them, and now it was learning us. If you want to hear what happened when Command made the decision to retrieve physical proof, and why I told them it was the worst mistake of my life, comment. Don't bring it back. After the second drone marked movement inside our perimeter, the illusion of safety died. Up until that moment, we had comforted ourselves with geography. The ridge was danger. The line was protection, simple, primitive, human. But now the map had betrayed us, because something had crossed it without moving. It had learned us, and learning travels faster than footsteps. Command pulled everyone into the mobile unit, doors sealed, curtains drawn, engines idling like we were already prepared to run. No one said panic, but panic had already taken a seat. They spoke in those careful, bloodless sentences people use when they are afraid of the truth. Adaptive behavior, unknown environmental factor, cognitive echo. They built fences out of syllables, and every single one of us knew those fences would not hold. 2 goals were set: retrieve physical evidence, reassert control. You see, institutions believe control is something you can announce, as if the world will obey the confidence in your voice. A retrieval team assembled, volunteers technically, but no one refuses that kind of request. 6 operators, hard eyes, harder training. They moved like men who had already decided fear was a problem for later. I tried again. I said we should not go back in. I said the boundary had changed. I said we were not dealing with distance anymore. They thanked me, the way adults thank children. At 14:03, they crossed the line. Inside the trailer, we watched biometrics stream across the monitors. Pulse steady, respiration controlled, weapons hot, formation tight. For 15 minutes, nothing happened. The forest behaved. Birds returned. Wind passed through branches like forgiveness. Hope is a dangerous drug. You start thinking maybe yesterday was misunderstanding, maybe stress, maybe grief, maybe we frightened ourselves. Then Operator 2 stopped walking. He said he felt watched. No one mocked him, because every person in that truck felt it too. The pressure, like the air had weight. They pushed forward, toward the ridge, toward the last place Cole had been human. The lead reported visual on the ground impressions, said they were still fresh, as if the earth had not decided what to do with them yet. He knelt, extended the collection tool. The moment metal touched soil, every monitor in the truck flared. Heart rates leapt, not spiked, leapt like bodies reacting to voltage. One of the federal observers cursed. He said it was electromagnetic interference. He said it twice, like repetition could make it true. Then my radio activated. I heard my voice, calm, grateful. Thank you for bringing more. I remember grabbing the unit and ripping the battery free. The words continued, floating in the air between us, unattached to machinery. On the ridge, the team heard it too. You could see it in their posture, in the way confidence collapsed. Operator 3 turned his camera, and we finally saw it clearly. Not fully, not in a way that helps, but enough to understand we were not meant to. It wasn't standing, It was occurring. Vertical intention, darkness gathered into suggestion. Where light touched it, the light bent. Where sound reached it, the sound forgot itself. The men fired, training taking over where comprehension failed. Rounds crossed through, and the world behind it took the punishment. Trees burst, stone cracked, the ground opened like skin. It did not react, because you cannot injure a question. Retreat was ordered. Screamed, begged. They ran, and again, it allowed them. I began to understand the ritual, the gift of distance, the illusion of escape. They reached the boundary, crossed, collapsed into gravel and fear. We waited for the presence to stop, because it always had, because that was the rule. The rule broke. The temperature dropped so fast, breath became visible. Vehicles died, screens flickered, metal ticked in sudden cold. It stood at the tree line, studying infrastructure, studying shape, studying the way humans cluster when frightened. And then it tried something new. It tried to simplify. The mass tightened, straightened, aligned, like a child copying posture, a parody of a man. Someone near me whispered, "Don't let it finish." But no one moved, because how do you interrupt understanding? My radio came alive again. This time, the voice was flawless, not imitation. Ownership. Is this acceptable? I felt attention land on me. Specific, intimate. It knew I had been listening since the beginning. I realized something terrible. We were not victims, we were curriculum. Command finally broke. Full evacuation. Leave equipment, leave data, leave dignity. Engines screamed. Rotors cut the air. Humanity retreated to noise because silence belonged to it. And still, it did not pursue. It had what it came for. By the time federal containment replaced us, the story had already changed. New terminology, new conclusions, mass hysteria, shared delusion. They are brilliant at turning horror into paperwork. But 3 hours after I reached home, my phone rang. No number, no origin. I answered because part of me already belonged to the ridge. Breathing, steady, practiced. Then my voice asked, "Do you still recognize me?" Not mocking, not angry, curious. Like it wanted feedback. I couldn't speak because recognition is permission. The call ended. In the days that followed, I tried to rebuild ordinary life. Coffee, traffic, television. But sometimes reflections held posture too long. Sometimes footsteps matched mine half a second late. And once, in the grocery store, I heard someone laugh in my voice from the next aisle. I left the cart. I drove home. I locked the door. Dispatch still reports extra check-ins near the exclusion zone. 5 official names. 1 unofficial. Mine. I asked them to remove it. They said it wasn't in the system, which means something else is putting it there. So listen to me carefully. If one day you hear yourself calling from somewhere you have never been, do not answer, because it may not be asking where you are. It may be confirming it has arrived. If you want the truth they buried in the psychological annex, the part where experts argued whether imitation is the first stage of replacement, comment. Read it anyway. But understand something. If I say it publicly, I won't be a witness anymore. I'll be a location.